Here's today's question. I want to know, are we interested in the stuff that actually affects us on a day-to-day basis? Stuff perhaps in the local newspaper about, I don't know, road closures, Mrs. Miggin's cat has escaped, or what the council think about a certain building? Or have we lost interest in that? And are we totally more what's the word I'm looking for? Consumed with what's going on in parts of the world that we actually will never visit, has no influence us or whatsoever, or is more salacious than is actually affecting us locally. The reason I say this is years ago we used to get national local papers, and in the local papers there would be all these stories about things that were happening locally. Somebody asked me the other day, actually, if I got a particular local magazine, and he said, I find it interesting because it tells you about the stuff going on locally. And I was very dismissive to him. I said, oh, I don't get that. What a load of old rubbish that is. And I thought, actually, that's interesting. What a strange attitude. That rather than being interested in those things that actually could affect me, where, I don't know, somebody's giving a talk that might be of interest, or there's a building going up that maybe I would object to, or would have an event going on that's of interest to me, I find myself on my phone scrolling and interested in things that are miles away, that have no bearing on my life whatsoever, and that I'm getting myself a little het up on how people think about certain issues, that I don't personally have those het ups. I don't really know anybody else who has the same het ups on those issues. And why am I even considering those things? Why is those things that seem to be talked about, discussed about in the mainstream media and on the social media suddenly of great importance and relevance that I'm sharing and talking about, and yet actually in my day-to-day life they have no consequence whatsoever? Am I alone in that? Do you do that? Are you interested in your local interests and things that go on around you, or are you more interested in those things that you actually have no control about whatsoever and will perhaps moan and rant about in the pubs in the evening, if you still go to a pub in the evening, or with your friends online, and have a moan about things that actually you can't do anything about? I'd be interested to know what you think about that. Newspapers, as I said before, were full of all sorts of interesting things, but they seem to have died out now. Local newspapers, local stories. Local television is pretty much non-existent. Is it that we get all our local stuff from the social media, like Facebook? And is that a non-biased thing? Is it that we have found that we just go and stay inside our bubbles and we're not really interested in things outside our area of immediate interest? I'd be interested in your views on that. Sorry, this is a very short one today, but it did strike me as being totally fascinating how we're not so well, certainly myself, and maybe it's an age thing. Maybe as you get older and you don't go so far and you don't travel so much, you're more interested in what's going on over there than you are that's actually going around you. Or perhaps the things that are happening around you don't give enough credit for, or you think they're boring, or they're just too everyday, they're not salacious enough. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Be fascinated to know, and I'll come up with another question for you tomorrow.